Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasir, and this is our first lecture of the principles of strategy and theory. Uh, Before mids, I've shared the readings with you people, and जितनी हमने cover कर ली थी, that was included in mids, and now the remaining reading would be included in your final. So only for your kind information, I'll make this lecture and I'll upload it on the YouTube. You can have its link from the YouTube directly, and even I will share its link in the group. And when I'll share it in the group, you can ask me different questions related to it after going through. So we'll start with the first lecture over here, the principles of strategy and theory. इसमें सबसे पहले would discuss about Clausewitz. He explained three primary rules to strategy and theory, and the first one is concentration on enemy's main force. Means you should know that what is the strength of your force numerically, and what is the strength of your force in terms of technology, how well they are prepared, how much professional they are, and were they into war ever before, उन्होंने पहले कोई जंग लड़ी है या नहीं. इससे ये हम ले सकते हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ़ एन आर्मी हैज़ फॉट 3 to 4 wars, तो दे वुड हैव एन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द बैटल ग्राउंड. एंड उसके अलावा अगर हम कंपेयर करें ऐसी आर्मी को जिसने कभी कोई जंग नहीं लड़ी, तो दे वोंट हैव द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द बैटल ग्राउंड. तो ऑब्वियसली जब आप एक एक्सपीरियंस्ड आर्मी जो कि बैटल ग्राउंड में होती है और एक वो आर्मी जो बैटल ग्राउंड में नहीं होती, तो उसमें बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. सो ये चीज़ हमने अपनी एनिमीज़ की फ़ोर्स के बारे में लाजमी देखी है. अच्छा, उसके अलावा क्लॉज़विट्ज़ ने जिस चीज़ पे एम्फसाइज़ किया, विच एवर प्लान दैट वी मेक बाय सिटिंग इन अ रूम बिफोर गोइंग इनटू द बैटल ग्राउंड, सो वो जो प्लान होता है, दैट प्लान कैन नॉट बी अप्लाइड सेम इन द बैटल फील्ड. वाई? बिकॉज बैटल फील्ड में डिफरेंट ऐसी चीज़ें होती हैं जो अनप्रडिक्टेबल होती हैं, जो आप सोच भी नहीं सकते. सो इन द बैटल फील्ड you shouldn't be only sticking to your plan that we have decided this and we have to do this, but rationally you can maneuver in the battlefield and you can change your tactics. So ये चीज़ एक मेन जिस पे फोकस किया गया है. और टैक्टिक्स में ऑफेंसिव भी हो सकती है, डिफेंसिव नेचर भी हो सकती है. अगेन आई वुड से दैट इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द सिचुएशन इन द बैटलफील्ड. It's not like that if your forces are withdrawing, so you shouldn't be like your forces, the enemy's forces are withdrawing, you shouldn't be staying at the border, you shouldn't be thinking of the defensive mode. At that time you should go offensive because they are withdrawing. So at that very point you can give them a big blow. This was about Clausewitz, and now we'll go to the Little Hurt. Little Hurt says disperse the enemy, force the enemy to disperse. In short, he says that और इसके अलावा सरप्राइज अटैक हो गया. जैसे इन सरप्राइज अटैक he says that achieve surprise by selecting unforeseen course of action, enemy's weak point, secondary action if necessary, achieve objective by action in secondary theater if necessary. इसमें यह है कि like for example I'll give the example of France and Germany. France and Germany are arch rival as we India and Pakistan are. So when there was a second world war, France had an information that Germany is going to attack us. So the border that they are sharing with Germany, 90% of the border they have, on the 90% of the border they have built a steel wall named as Magneto Line, and the other 10% was based on a thick forest. And so why they have left that, why they haven't developed this Magneto Line on that 10%, because they knew that this there is a thick forest and the Germans won't be able to pass through it. What did the German do? They have surprised the French. They have surprised the French within nights. They have cut that forest. They have moved their forces through that forest, and they have attacked the French troops, and that forest border was not heavily guarded, so they have easily penetrated in. They have came into the mainland of France. They have flanked the main forces of France that was deployed on the 90% of the border. They have crushed that force, and they easily captured France. So this was a surprise attack. And if we see about dispersing the enemy, you can engage your enemy's forces from different fronts. Like for example, if you are engaging them with different 4 fronts, and at one front you have deployed your major army, and at other 3 sides you have launched the raiding parties. So the enemy doesn't know that what is the number of the raiding parties. So the raiding party का number उनको नहीं पता. They may divert their forces, or they may divide their forces toward those 3 raiding parties. So जो main सामने जहाँ पे आपने फोर्सेस डिप्लॉय की हुई, उधर से फोर्स ऑब्वियसली कम हो जाएगी, और इस तरीके से आप उनकी फोर्सेस को डिस्पर्स कर सकते हैं, एंड देन यू आर इजीली एबल टू अचीव योर target. And one thing more, that you should hit the weak points of your enemy. And how would you come to know the weak points of your enemy? That is a question. आजकल हम कहते हैं कि इंफॉर्मेशन वॉरफेयर है. इफ़ यू हैव द इंफॉर्मेशन, you can take the action at the right time. If you know your enemy and know yourself, so you'll win. If you know that what move is gonna be taken by your enemy, you'll win. And और इन्फॉर्मेशन का क्या ज़रिया है? थ्रू मोल्स. इन्फॉर्मेशन का क्या ज़रिया है? थ्रू मोल्स, और थ्रू your agents that are being planted in the system, your enemy system और मशीनरी. और इसके अलावा उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे माओ ज़ेडंग की. माओ ज़ेडंग ने मेन जो फोकस किया, he said that there should be a close connection in between public and the army. If the army doesn't have the support of the public, it is quite difficult for the army to win against its enemy. So, and if the public or the civil population is against army, so it means like that the army would be fighting at 2 fronts, one at home and one abroad against the enemy's force. And उसके बाद हम लेनिन और स्टालिन की बात करेंगे. लेनिन और स्टालिन इस चीज़ पे फोकस करते हैं कि you should try to win the war psychologically. If you hijack your enemy's force and population psychologically, it means like that you have win half of the war, and it becomes so easy for you to influence them through force after winning psychologically. उसके बाद हम आ जाते हैं मॉडर्न अमेरिकन थिंकिंग के बारे में. तो वो बात करते हैं, your deterrence should be maintained. Deterrence, like deterrence is something through which you deter your enemy, and उससे आप अपने enemy को रोकते हैं कि वो आपके ख़िलाफ़ एक्शन ना लें. Deterrence means डराना. So like for example, if your deterrence fails, if you are not able to deter your enemy with your force, then and they take some action against you, it means the next step is that you should give them a flexible response. Flexible response is like, for example, if they have taken some step, you should respond to that step limitedly, in a limited way, so that and that should be a befitting response. And limited response, why? Because that limited conflict can escalate into a war, and then furthermore it can go into a total war. So first of all, deterrence. If deterrence fails, flexible response, and that should be a limited response, because that can lead to a total war. और उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे फ्रेंच स्कूल की economy of force. Like French school बात करता है कि if your economy should be free, your economy should be flourishing, your economy should be smooth, because it will bring money to your home, to your country, and your country would be rich. और इसके अलावा and once your economy would be independent, rich, your country would be rich, you'll have the freedom of action. Your actions won't be influenced by other parties. Your actions won't be dictated by any of the superpower or major power. Or and one thing more that is emphasized over here is blocking the enemy's maneuvering. Like, for example, if you have an enemy and their trade route is passing through your homeland, you can block that trade route. उससे क्या होगा? You can brought your enemies on knees, like you can bring them on the negotiating table, because blocking that trade route would bring dire consequences for their economy. So that is one of the good tactics to bring your enemy on table. Thank you so much. It was about the first lecture, and when I'll share it, you people would be allowed to ask me questions. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, and Allah Hafiz.